Yo, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Brandon Cole, and today, guess what? I got a pretty dope tip for you. Now, as you might have seen already from the thumbnail, I think this is pretty cool. And now I want you guys to flow with me for a little bit here, because this is actually pretty interesting. Now, I've done a lot of videos, I've done a lot of, YouTube like things that help you, but I haven't done any tips or anything like in a long time, just like a tip. So I'm going to give you guys a tip today. Now, as you can see in the back, there's a few things I want to point out to you first. First, I am still working on my YouTube studio. As you can see in the back, it's all coming along very well. From my past videos, you might have seen when I had my windows and stuff back there. Now, I wanted to get rid of those windows so bad, or just put something over them or do something, because, it's really hard to record a lot of videos in the daytime because all that light kind of comes through, even with the shades and everything closed. So I was able to build these shelves. I built these shelves myself. It was pretty cool. I love the process and everything. But my windows are still here. I didn't knock out my windows or anything, but I was like, hey, I own my own house, so might as well go ahead and do what I want to do. So I basically just filled it in, took down the blinds and everything and filled it in. So I am going through some more reconstruction and everything, but soon it's going to be all coming together. But I already love it right now. And that's the first thing. So today I wanted to really talk to you guys about an interesting, fascinating tip for you guys that are starting YouTube channels. Now check it out. This is unscripted. I'm coming off the dome. I want to be as authentic as I can when I talk to you guys. So I ain't doing no teleprompter. I ain't doing none of that. This is just me talking to you about my experience and why I feel that this hack, this is exactly what it is. This hack, this is the best thing that you can use when setting up your YouTube studio, when trying to, if you shoot in S-Log or you shoot in log, a lot of these different things, especially in the studio, and you're trying to get good composition, good lighting, your white balance and everything. From my experience, there is nothing better than using what I am going to show you today. Y'all ready? Let's dive into it. The best thing that I noticed that I found actually like 2 weeks ago, the best thing to help me dial in my exposure, to check my lighting, to check my composition, oh my God, to expose properly with a gray car, S-Log, all of that, was a freaking mannequin head. Do you hear me? A mannequin, dude. It is the best thing that you can get. Let me explain why. A mannequin head, or a body, half body, whatever you want to do, it allows you, or it helps you to basically dial in a lot of things. Now listen to this. When you're setting up your studio, you're trying to look at your composition, like where you might sit at, how close do I want the shot, how wide do I want the shot, how to bring in my Brandon Cole sign over here, what is going to be a tight shot on me, but also get a lot in the background for all this work that I've been freaking doing. Like a lot of these things, man, you can't frame your shot because you got to do it. You got to go behind the camera, and then you got to come back, and then you got to go here. And this also has to do with what lens you're going to use, how close you want your lens, how far away you want your lens, what the lens, do you want to use a 24 or a 35 or a 50 or an 85? So many things go into this, and you got to run back and forth. We spend so much time going back and forth to the camera, changing out lenses, things to try to get the best composition possible. That's the first thing. Lighting. Oh my goodness, man. Now, yes, if you have a monitor that helps you with false color, or you're dealing with zebras or histogram and all those things, it can definitely help you. However, trying to do that and trying to get it at the same time it's a process, man. Listen, I've done it. With all that being said, I found that I wish I just had somebody just sit right here. I wish somebody would just sit here at the same height, the same position that I am when I do my YouTube videos, so I can just do everything and see exactly how I want that shot set up. But then I was like, why don't I just use a mannequin? I got a mannequin out there. You guys seen Brandy so many times, right? But I was like, why don't I just use a mannequin? I'm gonna bring in Brandy because she loves being on camera. Let me get Brandy. That's Brandy. So what I did was I basically just took the head off of my mannequin, and then I bought a stand. You know, they make actual stands to hold mannequin heads. So that was the next thing. And then I wanted to get a stand that would basically be about the same height that I would be if I was doing a YouTube video. So basically, I just replace her with where I am, and then I can go behind the camera and adjust my lighting, adjust my white balance, look at my composition, a lot of different things, man. And it absolutely worked perfect. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And that way I don't have to keep touching the camera. I don't have to reach out. I don't have to get up out of my seat and go over there. See, before this process started, I was using a 24 millimeter, and then I changed to a 20 millimeter. I brought the camera really close to me. I didn't like the composition. I had to do it all over again. And then I saw some people use a 50 millimeter, get the nice pictures, shallow depth of field. But the shot was too close. And depending on your, depending on the area that you shoot in, depending on, how big it is, how wide it is, how much depth you have, from where my camera is right there to how much wall can be behind me. Like, it's really hard when you're actually going through this process and setting this stuff up, because you go back and forth with so many things, and you change your set so many times, right? But if I just had somebody sitting right here all the time, I could have did this and set this up much easier very, very long time ago. I recommend, if you are trying to figure out the best lens to use, if you're going back and forth with your lenses, or if you're going back and forth trying to look at how much stuff is in back of you, what you actually want in your shot, how to get that shot. If you are going back and forth with your lighting, how much light it looks like, what the angle that it needs to come, that is coming from, the wraparound, like how high does it need to be, how low does it need to be. If you are trying to expose for S log 3 or C log or F log or whatever the case may be, and you're trying to dial that thing in perfectly, it's so much easier to do it with a mannequin. And this is also something that I noticed. I noticed that I don't like using daylight strobes in the studio. I took away all my daylight strobes because I actually found that using a bicolor light is so much better, and the flexibility of it, because I don't always want to be stuck at 55, 5600. Everybody's studio is not set up for 55, 5600 Kelvin. I don't like that restriction. And if you guys know anything about me, I don't like restriction. All right. I like the free flowing manual, being able to adjust and get it down to a T. So I highly recommend, if you guys have a YouTube studio, if you're trying to set up a YouTube studio, get a bicolor light. And then they also tell you that whatever your Kelvin is in your camera, that's what your light should be on, which most of the time is kind of accurate. But when I was able to actually dial in the Kelvin the same as what's in my camera, but then I can look at the mannequin and I can tell and dial it better, because I'm exposing the S-log, but I can also use that gamma display assist to actually see what it looks like when I color grade it. I can dial that Kelvin in on my light just a little bit better. So I notice when I set my white balance to whatever my camera told me to, I noticed that if I set my daylight around 300 Kelvin below that, I was getting perfect color. But I never would have knew that if I could not sit behind the camera and adjust the exposure, adjust the Kelvin at the same time while looking at a mannequin or somebody to just sit here for however long and to get that color perfectly. Another thing if you're getting a mannequin, one of the great tips you want to do, now I already had a mannequin, but one of the great things that you want to do is, if you're a darker complected person like myself, or you have a shade, you want to try to get a mannequin that is close to your color, close to however dark you are, your skin tone, whatever the case may be. Try to get a mannequin that's close to your skin tone, because just because it looks good on her, I noticed that if I'm darker, I'm going to have to bring that Kelvin up a little bit. So it might say 5200 kind of like for her or for this scene. I need to be somewhere like 5,500, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show you actually what that looks like, having her sit right here and actually adjusting things and how just so much better it looks. All right, let's do that right now. All right, guys, so here we are behind the camera, and I'm using my other camera to record that camera, and then I'm using my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 to kind of record me. So apologize for this type of like look, but you guys are gonna get the picture. So basically I just wanted to show you what it actually looks like and why basically I do it the way that I do it. So, but just to show you guys what it looks like, as you can see, like look at the mannequin, like my Kelvin is set to 5,500 Kelvin. I'm at F2, I'm exposed about, you know, 2 stirs stops over. But as you can just see, like, look at it. When you have somebody sitting right there, just look at that. It tells me where I need to have my camera at, you know, if I need to move my camera to the left or to the right. It's really, really helping with composition. So the first thing that having a mannequin head right there is perfect for, is perfect for composition. As I explained earlier about, you know, having the right lens and if I should go with a 24. Like, people get so caught up in wanting to do what everybody else is doing out there, and you really just need to basically just find what works for you in your space. So in my space, this is a 35 millimeter, but I noticed in my studio and for the amount of area that I have to get that depth of field, to get the shells and everything in focus and in the shot and frame it like I want to, the framing is automatically, the framing is absolutely amazing when you have a mannequin head. So this is the framing that I absolutely wanted. So then from the framing, and again, I have it, it's sitting exactly where I would basically be sitting at if I was behind the camera. That way I don't have to go back and forth. And that is the first thing. Composition, absolutely number one. Number two is the exposure. So if you look at this, like I'm sitting right here looking at this on the back of this camera, and right now it's showing me an S-log, but if I press this button up here that gives me, that shows me my gamma display assist, is going to kind of show me what it's going to look like if I color grade it. If I press this button right here, now it's going to give me a absolutely much better image, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, that looks really, really good. That's showing me right there what that will look like if I was to color grade it, and that's great. So with this looking like this, now I can look at the image and I can say, okay, that image needs more light from this angle. It needs more light from this angle. It, you know, the hair light needs to come over, come down a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I need to probably move something. I need to center her more. Whatever the case may be, the lighting, having a mannequin head back there for that lighting is insane. Now again, I'm using a 48-inch softbox, but I'm also using the SD 300B. B is for bicolor. This is by GVM right here. As you can see this, I can try to get you just a little bit better. I don't have really good lighting back here, but I'll do my best. But yeah, that's the GVM. But I can go up there and I can adjust the Kelvin in my light to see if I want it a little bit warmer, to see if I want it a little bit cooler, to match the Kelvin that's already in my camera. You don't necessarily have to set your Kelvin the same as in your light, but a lot of people do it because that's just the easiest way to do it. But when you have something like a mannequin or somebody sitting back there for hours and hours and hours, and you can really dissect and dial in your exposure absolutely perfectly from the Kelvin to the lighting, it makes all the world of a difference, man. So that's it for me, guys. That's my tip to you guys today. Go out and get you a mannequin head, a half body, whatever the case may be, and set that bad boy up to exactly where you would be at if you was doing a talking head for your video. And that way you could come behind the camera and I can sit here and I can look. I can see exactly what my composition is. I can see the lighting. I can see the exposure. I can see exactly what I wanted in camera, what I don't want, what lens would look better, without ever having to go back and forth doing this all day trying to get the most perfect lighting. I don't know why nobody on YouTube has did a video about this and put this out there. I guess nobody really wanted to tell you. But I'm here to tell you and share probably the best hack with you. Get a mannequin head, put it right there, and come back and adjust everything without having to run back and forth. Like, why have I been running back and forth all this time? I have no idea. Y'all figure it out. I don't know. I'm out of here.